Before we get started painting with our watercolors, I want you to double check that your black lines go all the way from one edge to the other, and like this one right here does not. So if you have a line that doesn't go to the edge, I want you to draw it in. Also, if you have lines that are not black and they look mostly gray, that means you didn't press down enough. So I want you to go back over, if you think you need to, and make it darker. Do you see the difference? Because if you don't do this step, when we paint with our watercolors, your lines might disappear. So this one's a little bit lighter too, you can see, compared to the others. So you want to make sure your lines are nice and dark. All right, so for watercolor paint, it doesn't work unless you add water. So with your brush, you're going to dip it in the water first, and we're doing the rainbow. These are rainbow line monsters. So the beginning color of the rainbow is red. And you can see here, when I get red on my brush, I have to keep painting it. I don't stick my brush right in the middle, my bristles right on the tip. It's like I paint into the color. All right, then I'm gonna start painting. I'm gonna paint one section, then another. And once, and it's okay if it gets a little bit out of the line, but once you feel like you need to dip your color in, or your paintbrush in again, because look, it's getting kind of light, that means my paint is getting dry. So I'm gonna dip my brush in again into the water, paint into that color, and I'm gonna finish that first line area. Okay, orange is the next color. I can't dip my brush right into the orange, so I need to wash it. And to do that, I stick it into the water, and it's like I'm swirling and painting the bottom of the cup. That's how you clean it. And I don't tap the water, I just touch the edge of it to get that extra water off. Then I dip it into the orange, do the same thing. And if you think your color's too light, you need to get some more paint. And if you think it's not very wet, then add a little bit more water. And I could have stopped where that dotted line is, but I'm gonna paint this whole section. Add a little more water to my color. And it's, oh, we're gonna try to keep it in that section, and the crayon line should separate the colors pretty good, but if your red moves into the orange a little bit, then that's okay. But the crayon should separate it enough. Remember, when you're switching colors, you can't just dip your brush right into the next color without cleaning it. The next color in the rainbow is yellow. So after I painted with my orange, I needed to swirl it in my water, kind of paint the bottom of your cup, and then don't tap your brush. It's gonna spray water everywhere. So again, you just kind of touch the side to get that extra water off, and then paint into your yellow color. Don't stab the brush into it like this, just paint into your color. And if you feel like it's, again, too dry or it's not dark enough, get a little more water and paint a little more. Get all that color into your brush. Now it's a little bit brighter. Paint all the way down to that next line. And you're probably gonna have to get some more color again, so dip it a little bit of water or your brush into a little bit of water, paint into your color, and then back onto your paper. Get all the way to the edge. We have messy mats to catch the paint, so go all the way to the edge. You shouldn't see any white spaces. Next color is green in the rainbow, so I clean my brush, touch the side, or just kind of wipe it off again, and then back into the next color, which is green. Paint it really good so it coats your brush. Try to keep in between those black lines. Those black lines are going to separate the colors, but if they do run together a little bit, it's okay. Gonna need some more color, so I dip it into the water, back into my color. Sometimes when your watercolor paints are dry, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get them to be nice and dark. But then once you go back to use it, it's a little bit easier. You don't quite need to keep painting it as much to get that color. All right, next color is blue. Cleaning my brush. Okay, and when you come to a line, again, like a dotted line or a dashed line, you can decide if you want to stop at that line or just paint over it. It's up to you. If you don't have enough spaces to get all the colors of the rainbow, that's okay. Just do as many as you can, or if you have any spaces left over, like I'm gonna have a space left over here, then you just start over at the beginning of the rainbow. My blue is looking a little light, so I'm going to add some more color, a little bit of water first and some more color, and see how much darker it became because I just painted into the color a little bit more. Okay, you can see I have all the rainbow colors here. Again, if you only get to maybe the first 5 colors, or if you have extra space left over where you can start over with the rainbow, it's whatever fits with your lines. And I should also mention that you see those black lines because you created a watercolor resist or a crayon resist. That's because the wax from the crayons and the water from the watercolor paint, they don't get along. So when you paint over it, the color just slides off your lines, whether it's black or any other color, it will just slide off your lines and they'll stick to the paper. That's why we had to make sure our lines were nice and dark. Otherwise they wouldn't show up. And again, if you have some colors that are running together, like I have some blue and purple running together here, that's okay. That's okay if they run together a little bit. All right, that's your rainbow line monster body that you just finished.